Someone in your life went quiet the moment things went right for you. Not a fight, not a scene, just colder, slower to clap, faster to find the flaw. And every video out there hands you the same easy answer. They're jealous. That's half true. The other half is the part that actually protects you, and nobody says it out loud. So let's be straight. Yes, some people try to pull you down when they can't keep up. That's real. But they're just jealous is also the most flattering lie your brain can reach for. Believe it blindly, and you end up one of two ways: paranoid about everyone, or deaf to feedback you needed. This video kills both. 3 parts. Why competition sets this off. What people actually do when they lose. And the test that tells you real envy from your own ego, fast. Here's the strange part. The people furthest above you don't envy you. The people right next to you do. A billionaire doesn't cost you any sleep. The coworker who took your promotion does. Leon Festinger nailed why back in the 1950s. We don't measure ourselves against the world. We measure against people like us. Same age, same field, same starting line. They're the mirror. And the second that mirror shows someone winning with your cards, it stops being information and starts feeling like an accusation. Tesser took it further. The threat spikes on 2 dials: how close the person is and how much you care about the thing they just won. A stranger's success? Noise. A close friend's success? In the one arena you built your identity on? Direct hit. Which is why the knife usually comes from inside the house. Not rivals, friends. And it's not just one person. Put a rising person inside a group that's used to everyone being level, and watch. The Australians named it tall poppy syndrome. Cut down the flower that grew past the field. Norman Feather studied it for years, and here's the unsettling part. The group doesn't need a villain. The moment one member climbs, their win stops being theirs. It becomes a question hanging over everyone who didn't move. Why not me? Almost nobody can sit with that question. So they answer it cheap: she got lucky, she changed, she thinks she's better than us now. None of it has to be true. It's just easier than the question your success dropped in the room. So if a whole group ever cooled on you at once, you weren't imagining it. And it wasn't a conspiracy. It was the same gap, copied across a room full of mirrors. Now the hinge, the whole thing turns on. When someone falls behind you, the envy breaks one of 2 ways, and for the first 3 seconds they look identical. Van de Ven and his team split them clean in 2009. First kind, benign envy. I want what you've got, so I'm climbing. It stings, then it fuels. These people go quiet, disappear, and come back better. You barely clock it. It's aimed at themselves. Second kind, malicious envy. It can't climb or won't, so it does the only other thing that closes the gap. It drags you down to its level. Same trigger, opposite move. And here's the unlock. Everything people do to you when they can't compete is just malicious envy, hunting for a delivery system. See the system, and the behavior stops being mysterious. It gets predictable. So here's the playbook. The cooling. Withdrawal first, almost always. The warmth just leaves. They won't fight you. Fighting means admitting you matter. So they go cold. Cold denies everything. What? I'm fine. It costs them nothing. And it makes you do the work of wondering what you broke. The minimizing. Then they shrink it. You share a win. It gets deflated. Not really a big deal. Anyone could have gotten that. Must be nice. They're not describing your win. They're resizing it down to something that doesn't scare them. The backhanded compliment. Praise with a hook in it. Wow, didn't think you had it in you. It sounds like support, but it lands like a cut. And that's the design. Plausible deniability with a sting attached. The coalition. Can't drop you solo? They recruit. Oldest move there is, psychologists call it relational aggression, first mapped in kids who fought socially instead of physically. Gossip, exclusion, getting others to see you the way they need you seen. They can't beat you in the open, so they build a room you're not in, and redecorate your name inside it. The sudden expertise. You finally do the thing. And out of nowhere, they're an authority on why your way was wrong. The one-up. Couldn't do it, so they grabbed the next best seat. The critic who could have, but chose not to. One engine under all five. None of it means you're terrible. It's a gap they can't close, leaking out sideways. Watch it in real life because in the open it's obvious. Inside a friendship it's invisible. 4 friends since school, all level. One starts a business. A year nothing changes, then it works. Here's the order. First the cooling. The group chat answers her news a little slower, moves on a little faster. Nobody says a word. It just goes quiet around her wins. Then the minimizing. Must be nice. Lucky timing. Anyone could have done it in that market. Then the backhand. Didn't think you had it in you. Then the coalition, a conversation she's not in, where the story quietly becomes she's changed. She thinks she's better than us. Nobody chose this. Every move felt small and fair to the person making it. But stack them over 6 months, and a friend gets pushed to the edge of her own group for the crime of doing well. And the worst part? She spends the whole time sure she did something wrong. That's the trap. Here's the way out. Because this is exactly where every video on this lies to you. Stop here, and I've handed you a loaded gun. I've trained you to look at every cold friend, every criticism, every flat reaction, and think one word: jealous. That's how you lose every honest person you have. So flip the mirror. Hard truth. They're just jealous is the most flattering story your ego sells. It turns every bad signal into proof you're winning. Criticism? Jealousy. Distance? Jealousy. Someone not clapping? Jealousy. Airtight. Feels incredible. Usually wrong, because it never lets you ask if they had a point. So before you label anyone, run 3 checks. 1, pattern or person. Real envy is targeted. It tracks your wins and goes quiet when you're struggling. But if they're blunt with everyone, that's not envy. That's their personality, and it was never about you. 2, could it be true? The one the flattery videos skip. Envy and accurate feedback sound identical. The test isn't how it feels. Real feedback always feels like an attack. The test. Would someone who clearly wants you to win say a version of the same thing? If yes, it might be real. Take the note. Leave the delivery. 3, are you performing? Sometimes the envy is a response to you. Narrating every win. Running a highlight reel at people. Doesn't make their reaction kind. But it means it's a loop you're feeding, not an attack you're suffering. And a loop you can cut. Run those 3 and most jealousy sorts into 3 boxes. A difficult person, real feedback, or your own ego-hunting applause. Whatever's left after that, that's the real thing. Now you can deal with it. So, real, confirmed, malicious envy. 3 moves. None of them revenge. 1, stop performing. It feeds on the reaction. Every time you defend the win, justify it, or shrink it to keep the peace, you confirm the move worked. The most disarming thing you can do is be completely unbothered and completely warm, not smug, warm. It gives them nothing to grab. 2, leave them and exit. Nobody admits envy, even to themselves. Corner them, and they dig in. Stay generous, real credit, open door, and you give benign envy room to do its quiet work. Some people, handed enough space and 0 humiliation, leave and come back as the version that climbed. You can't force it. You can leave the door open. 3, protect the circle, don't build a fortress. Move the real stuff into your plans, your next move, toward the people who clearly want you to win. Stop handing raw material to the ones who don't. Quietly. No speech, no cut-off announcement. You don't need enemies. You just stop arming them. That's not paranoia. That's gardening. One line, the whole thing. When someone can't compete with you, they don't have a plan for you. They have a gap inside themselves, and your win is just where it leaks. Get that. And you're not better than them. You're free of them. The cold stops being personal. Feedback stops looking like an attack. and you stop burning energy on a fight the other person is mostly having with their own reflection. But there's a harder version of this, the one almost nobody says out loud. What happens when you're the one watching someone else win, and it quietly stings? Handled right, that feeling is the most useful signal you own. That's the next video.